Hi there, I'm David Hunt, owner of GameMasters Guild, and today I'm going to do another deck tech on one of my other decks. It's not one I play a whole lot. It's still pretty new for me. I'm not used to playing green and white, and that's what the deck is. It's a green-white deck. On my box I got it scribbled green-white counter because I've got some actual counter spells in there, and I'll show you those here in just a minute. Mostly I just call it my Watchwolf deck because I love Watchwolf, and that's what I just call it. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy my green-white deck tech. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at my green-white deck. And this time, unlike my red deck, I have sleeves on it. And I like rocking the Grumpy Cat because Grumpy Cat is cool. All right, so let's take a look and see what I got in my green-white deck. So first up, we're going to take a look at my mana base. So my mana base, I've just got some plains here. I've got, looks like I got about 3 plains, some forests. I've got about 4 forests. Now I've got Grove of the Guardian, and I got this mostly so I can have an 8/8 creature token out there at some point in the game. And plus also it does some colorless mana. Sometimes I like these cool lands, just getting a creature out just in case. It's just, I mean, a big 8/8, why not, right? Alright, then I have Branchloft Pathway. It's a dual land. It can either come out and I can add for a green, or if I choose to, I can put it out and add for a white. And that just, here we go, we'll just flip it over right there. And there's the other half of it. When I put it out into play, that's when I choose what it's going to be, either the Boulderloft Pathway or the Branchloft. So just trying out the pathway and seeing how it's going to be. Next, I've got the Selesnya Guildgate, and I can choose either red or white mana to my mana pool. I've got the Scattered Groves, same thing. But with Scattered Groves, I like it because, again, more draw power. I love cards with cycling. So, now the Selesnya Sanctuary. Now, when it comes into play, you do have to bounce a land you control back to your hand, but you do get to add a green and a white to your mana pool whenever you tap it. Another Selesnya Sanctuary. Irrigated Farmland. Now, this is white and blue. I don't have any blue in my deck whatsoever. However, again, it has cycling, and that's why I like it, because it has cycling. Gives me some draw power. So, and plus, if I wanted to, I could splash a blue card, a couple of blue cards in here. So if I had the option to cast it, I could. And I got some other cards that would allow me to cast some blue stuff. So it wouldn't be too bad if I kept some blue stuff in my sideboard. Okay, so the first of my cards, I got some green cards here, and they're 1 cost, and these are Abundant Growth and Chant Land. I got this mostly for draw power. Again, when it enters the battlefield, I get the draw card, and the Enchanted Land has add 1 mana of any color to my mana pool. So again, I'm playing a 2-color deck, and if I do decide to splash in a 3rd color, just like with Irrigated Farmland, I can splash in blue. Now, if I want to splash in that 3rd blue color, I certainly could, and it's not going to be a problem. Plus, it's going to be easier for me to get the 2 colors I need and still maintain cards in my hand. Okay, Soul Teeth. This is a 2-cost white card. It's enchantment, and I enchant a non-land permanent, and at the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted permanent's controller, that player has to sacrifice it unless they pay X, where X is the converted mana cost of that permanent. So that's kind of nice to lock them down, slow them down, and also make them choose whether or not they really want to keep that permanent that bad to tie up mana to use it. So this is basically a slow down card. I like that a lot. And if they do decide to sacrifice something, even better. Coming up next, I've got the Crown of Convergence, which is only a 2-cost. I do have to play with the top card of my library revealed. However, if the top card is a creature card, all my creatures that share a color with it get +1/+1. And you can guarantee most of my cards in here are multicolor cards, especially my creatures. And for a green and a white, I can put the top card of my library on the bottom. Hence, getting more of those creatures out and getting that bonus, making that a whole lot easier. And I've got 3 of those in my deck. Next up, Fleece Mane Lion, a green and a white. He's a 3/3. And as long as it has Monstrous, it has Hexproof and Indestructible. And Monstrosity, all I got to do is pay 3 colorless, a green and a white, to get that thing to become monstrous, and he gets a +1/+1 counter, and then also too, he'll get that hexproof and indestructible. Plus also, he's just for a 3/3 for 2 just to get him out as a chump blocker. I'm willing to get him out there. Got a couple Fleece Mane Lions there. Now I have some Sigil Blessings. They're instants, so I can cast him on my opponent's turn as well, put them on my blockers. Until end of turn, one creature gets +3/+3, and other creatures I control get +1/+1. This is nice for when I want to go ahead and make that mad dash across the battlefield to attack my opponent with everything. And if possible, sometimes I'll even do it again or again, and this is great to hold one for an attack. And then if I got some defenders home and he's swinging or he swings unexpectedly, I can pop one of these out to make my defenders even tougher. But you could definitely stack these on your attackers and swing away, take them down really quick with some cheap, fast creatures. Now, if your opponent gets some hits on you, I've got Heroes Reunion, and target player gains 7 life, and I can do it instantly, and it only costs a white and a green. Watchwolf. This is one of my favorite cards. I put him in here because he's so cool. He's a green, he is white, and he's a 3/3. And of course, I'm going to have a play set of Watchwolves. And you figure if you combine that with the Sigil Blessing, I mean, just imagine if you had all the Watchwolves out there, even just one, at the very least, you're suddenly going to have for 2, you're suddenly going to have a 6/6 creature, and all the other ones are going to get +1/+1. So these guys would be 4/4s all of a sudden. He'd be a 6/6. Or however it works out with the creatures on the battlefield. I love Watchwolf. It's a really cool card. Plus, he just looks awesome. Look at that thing. Oh, man, it's just too cool. I love Watchwolf. He's just cool. Even if I lose, at least I'll lose looking good. Again, pretty casual deck. Hopefully you find something that you'll like in it. Let's take a look and see what else I've got. Okay, so I've got for 3, Forsake the Worldly. With this, I can exile target artifact or enchantment. Kind of nice to get rid of those pesky cards. And green and white, really good for doing that. Also, too, has cycling. Again, lets me keep cards in my hand. Keeps me having options. And I just threw one of them in there. Generous Stray. Chump blocker, he's a 1/2 for 3. But I get the draw card. And I got 3 of those guys in there. Again, just trying to keep my hand full of cards and to keep myself alive long enough to do something. Qasali Ambusher. He's reach, so he can block creatures with flying. He's a 3-cost. He's a 2/3. And if a creature is attacking me, and I control a forest and a plains, basically I can flash this guy out into play. So if I don't have anybody out, someone's swinging, I got a forest and a plains out, boom, boom. I can just throw him out there without paying his mana cost as though it had flash. Qasali Ambusher, really good card, no matter what you get, what kind of deck you got going on. Highly recommend. If you're playing green-white, you definitely want some Qasali Ambushers if you can find them. All right, next up, for a 3-cost, he's a 3/3. Centaur Healer. Hits the battlefield, I gain 3 life. A chump blocker that gives me life and protects me. Heck yeah, and I got 2 of them in my deck. Next up is another 3-cost, and that's going to be my Veteran War Leader. I got 2 of them, green and white and a colorless. And his power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures I control. And I can tap another untapped ally I control, and this guy gains choice of First Strike, Vigilance, or Trample until end of turn. I don't have a lot of extra allies in my deck, so this second ability is kind of wasted. But, you know, if you did a little extra research, you could probably make him much more effective than he is in my deck. Maybe with the introduction of some changelings or something like that, because they're every creature type. But again, my thing is, I'm just looking right there. Got a bunch of cheap creatures. I'm looking to get that power and toughness up there real quick. So that's why I got the War Leader in there. Let's take a look. Let's see. I have another 3-cost. Loxodon Smiter. He's a 4/4, and he can't be countered. Great for when you're playing those blue decks. And if a spell or ability somebody controls causes you to discard him, you can put it in the battlefield instead of putting it in your graveyard. So if someone gets it out of your hand, oh, no problem. You just throw them back out in the battlefield, you're good to go. So great against those discard decks that got like Hypnotic Spectre in them, stuff like that. And he's bolt proof because he's a 4/4. Keep 3 of them in there. Again, he's cheap, he's easy, he's awesome. I do have one of my bigger creatures I have is Sigarda, Host of Herons. 2 white, a green, and 2 colorless. 5/5, flying hexproof, and spells and abilities your opponents control don't cause you to sacrifice permanence. I don't mind that extra cost for all those abilities. Pretty nice. So I keep one Sigard in here just cuz. And now, what's really cool is these next cards. Mana Teeth. These are all my white counter spells. For 1 cost, you can counter target spell unless this controller pays 1. Now, a lot of times people have mana to burn, but if you can get this card early on or catch them throwing a bunch of mana towards something to cast and they're not prepared for this, you can really catch them off guard with Mana Teeth. And I do usually keep 3 or, in this case, 4 of Mana Teeths handy just because it can catch them off guard. And then Lapse of Certainty, not the best counter spell, neither of these are, but it is a white counter spell. For 3, you can counter target spell, and if that spell is countered in this way, you get to put it on top of its owner's library instead of into the player's graveyard. So I would try to use, and I keep 3 of them handy. Now, that card's going to come back out later, but that's okay because they have to waste that mana yet again to get that card out. Buys you a little bit of time. Plus, when they go to cast it, you could always stop them with Mana Teeth if they're not paying attention, and you could really catch them off guard. So, a little extra surprise, I've actually caught some guys off guard playing this before, and I've actually had a guy say, there's white counter spells? And I'm like, well, yeah, there are. And see, that's the beauty of Magic, is you'll discover something that you think everybody knows and come to find out not everybody knows that there are white counter spells. And that's what's really cool about Magic. And this is great for a game of Commander. Someone's playing and all of a sudden, boom, you do a Lapse of Certainty. They're like, well, you're playing a white deck. Yep. And I just countered that spell. Put it on top of your library, and they try to go for it again. Boom, Mana Teeth them. Oh, that will really teeth them off. Okay, that was a pretty bad pun. And so that's pretty much it for my white-green deck. I don't really have too much of a sideboard. I think I might have some... Nope, I really don't have too much odds and ends for my green-white deck. I pretty much like it how it is, although there's a lot of different options that you could really do for green and white, and this is just kind of one of them. I got another green-white deck that at some point we'll take a look at with Terastodon, but we'll take a look at that on another day. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found something cool that you can use for your deck. All right, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found something useful that you can use for perhaps one of your decks down the road. Well, again, I'm David Hunt, owner of GameMasters Guild, thanking you for taking the time to watch my videos and telling you to stay safe, play great games, and I'll see you real soon.